You're listening to Sunday Brunch with Emma Bickley on ABC Radio Canberra. You know, tomorrow is the first day of National Stroke Week, which will raise awareness about one of Australia's biggest killers. It's thought that every 19 minutes an Australian will experience a stroke. And one man who knows how difficult dealing with stroke can be is Gus Sabatino. He's a local stroke survivor and he joins me now. Welcome to the show, Gus.
Good morning, Emma. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. Now, you of all people will be able to answer this. How important is it to know the signs of a stroke?
It's fundamental. It's fundamental to not only be able to access that immediate care which is required for being able to recover, but it's also important to, help in the patient or the other person that's going through it, because as an individual you do not realize there are signs that you can tell from a person that is going through a stroke. Your face starts to droop. Now, as an individual having lived a stroke, I did not realize that was happening to me. So it's only by someone else visually seeing that you can tell. In my case, I noticed that I couldn't move my arms. That's the next sign of stroke, not being able to move your arms, right? And then it moves into your speech starting to get slurred. You don't make sense when you speak. It's gibberish,
Yep.
and that's the other sign. And then obviously, as we say in the recognition of stroke, which is fast, the third one is time. Time is crucial to be able to get help. And, in the speed of time, you want to actually call 000 straight away, get an ambulance and go to hospital and get the attendance that you need.
So a lot of people might have been imagining that a person having a stroke would be outwardly unmissable, perhaps compared to other conditions like having a seizure or something, that it would be so obvious that you would immediately know to call an ambulance. But I think what you're saying here is it can be very subtle. And so they've come up with this acronym, FAST,
Correct.
F-A-S-T. Can you just once again talk us through this acronym and what it means?
So FAST stands for face, arms, speech, and time. Face is the sign that you are actually getting droopiness in your face. So your face starts, your muscles start to drop, your mouth starts to drop. The next one is arms. You actually lose mobility of your arm, and your limb feels as if it's not existent in your body. So you literally cannot lift your arm. Then speech, your words slur as you try to speak. So you end up sounding something like blah, blah, yeah,
Yes,
and it's
absolutely.
horrible. It's a horrible feeling to the individual that's going through the stroke, but also for the one that's actually been spoken to. Now, that is an immediate sign that stroke has actually progressed. That's when you hit time. From fast, that's time. Call 000. As soon as that you see any of those three signs, you call 000, get the ambulance out, and head straight to hospital to actually get attendance for that stroke.
And I'm led to believe that there is a critical time period. If you can get the person to the hospital fast enough, are there things that can be done to reverse or stop the progression of damage to the brain, the nervous system of a person having a stroke? Can they do anything?
Absolutely. Obviously, getting the person into the hospital as quickly as possible is fundamental. The first 4 hours are considered the most crucial time to get the attendance and the medication to hopefully be able to dissolve that clot in the brain. A stroke is basically a clot to one of the arteries or the veins that actually feed the brain, and therefore that particular side of the brain or that part of the brain is not getting blood, not getting oxygen, and slowly dying. So the quicker you go to hospital, the less areas of the brain that start to die due to the lack of oxygen and blood feeding that section of the brain through the clot, right?
Yes.
4 hours. And, the patient will go through things like an MRI, and they're trying to identify the severity of the clot and the severity of the damage, and then potentially get some blood thinning agents to actually help dissolve the clot and get the blood flowing again into that area of the brain. So the first 4 hours, that response time is absolutely crucial for being able to recover and actually start to lead a more, normal life again.
It sounds like it would be a horrific thing to have to go through, but being armed with this information about knowing to get that person to the hospital as soon as possible would help. Now, when I think of strokes, obviously we associate it with old people, but I'm getting the impression from your voice that this happened to you. You don't sound like an elderly person to me. So do
No,
old people only experience strokes?
look, I think, the elderly are more prone to stroke simply because of the aging processes that our body goes through. But stroke does not discriminate. It doesn't care about how old you are. A stroke does not care of, what gender you are, or, what background you have. Basically, I was 49 when I actually had my
Wow.
first stroke.
Wow.
And I was very, very, I considered myself very healthy. I was going to the gym every day. I was going for runs. I ate very healthy. And yet I still had a stroke. And you're 100% correct. It's not age specific. And obviously, if you start to lead a more healthier lifestyle, less sugar, less salt, try to reduce smoking, try to reduce the alcohol, not cut it completely because, we know that we need to have some
Yes.
things that we enjoy in
Something that
life.
we enjoy,
But
absolutely.
yeah, but leading a healthier lifestyle is actually fundamental to actually reduce that possibility of getting a stroke. Going out for a walk, doing exercise, and keeping active. At the end of the day, all of those things will actually lead to what is one of the messages around in Stroke Week. Our precious moments. Taking care of ourselves leads to us to be able to actually enjoy those precious moments in life, those precious things that are part of our life for much
Yes.
longer.
Yes,
So, yeah.
so true. When we think about any aspect of our health, whether it be concerns about cardiovascular disease, um, diabetes, anything like that, there are things that we can do right now that will at least remove some of those risk factors. So, as you say, living a healthier lifestyle, less alcohol, less smoking. I'm reading here that 80% of strokes are preventable. So, when you talk about precious moments, can you expand on what you mean by that a little bit? I think it's the theme of Stroke Week this year. What does it mean, precious moments?
Well, I'll put it from my personal perspective, right? The fact that I was able to recover, the fact that I actually was identified very quickly following those fasts and I got the treatment that I needed. I am now, enjoying my life again as what is considered a post-normal day-to-day living. I'm sharing my times with my kids, I'm
Yep.
sharing my time with, my partners. I'm working, I'm doing social events, and I travel and I'm doing things that are precious to me from, day-to-day desires and living experiences. I can visit my mother and do all of those things that, normal non-stroke victims take for granted.
Mm-hmm.
And as a survivor, learning the fast process and actually getting early intervention actually has now allowed me to, admire and take better appreciation of some of those precious things that we take for granted when things are okay. Because, when things are okay, things are okay. It's only when something happens that you realize, oh, I should have.
Yes,
So instead
I
of
should
saying I
have.
should have
Yes, yes,
gone for
yes,
a walk, go for a walk. Instead of
yes.
saying I should have actually eaten less salt, put less salt on your food.
Actually do it.
Actually do it exactly.
Gus, you are an inspiration, and I thank you so much for sharing the precious moments that have come out of what must have been a horrendous time for you and your family. But I just want you to know that by coming on here and talking about it and being an advocate for FAST, for stroke awareness, you know, even if you save one person, you have done a magnificent job. So thank you so much for your time on the show
You're
today.
welcome. I'll
Thank you,
just put it
Gus.
out there.
Go,
I'll put it out
go, put
there
it out
that
there.
there are going to be almost 400 first stroke victims in Canberra during the year. We know that through statistics.
Yeah.
So who they are, we don't know. But if all of our Canberrans take a little bit of notice,
Yep.
especially during the week and going forward, that number can reduce. It can reduce. We know it can reduce. So definitely it's something to take care of and be able to enjoy precious moments. Emma, I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Oh, no, I have appreciated talking to you. And FAST is an acronym that we can all, you can jot it down at home right now with your pen and paper. Face, arms, speech, time, FAST. Gus, thank you again.
You're welcome. Thank you.